Thank you. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all. 2 years of unprecedented challenges, but we dared and endured. We reluctantly moved to online meetings and then got a little too comfy in the small windows. And then, though pushed and prodded, we still stepped eagerly to meet in person before being banned back again to online meetings. Throughout this saga of on again, off again, what shone through was the indomitable spirit of Toastmasters. This high flexibility and adaptability speaks of a refined resilience as we launched off into our third year of online contest season. And to maintain the longevity of that resilience, District 105 PQD team has fine-tuned the online contest management process and are here tonight to train us all. Here are a few ground rules to abide by for a prolific session. Please turn off your audio unless instructed. Please use the chat box to communicate as and when instructed. Please turn off all noise-making devices or put them in silent mode. Please do not switch on the audio while the training is in progress, as it may interrupt the speaker. Speakers are requested to refrain from making any references to politics, sex, or religion in their speeches. With that, let's welcome the dauntless DTM Rania and the online contest management team who have strived to define the quality in the program. A very warm welcome, and over to you, DTM Rania.
Thank you so much, Madam MC, our dear logistics manager, and my dear fellow friends and members, brothers and sisters, a very good evening. I would like to acknowledge the presence of District Director DTM Gurbinder. Our dear Paji is here. I can see DTM Jamil is in the house, and many division directors, area directors, friends and members who are enthusiastic to know more about this online management. Now, some of you might have wondered, why are they doing it again? We've been doing it for 2 years. What's new? Now we are skilled, you know all the ins and outs. You might be true, you might be inaccurate actually, because ever since the beginning of the pandemic, and when we were hit by it 2 years ago, we started with the international contest, as you remember. Then last year, we did it for the first time in all 4 categories. And we gained some skills and we've become more comfortable in running online contests. And this year we started with enthusiasm to do it in person in Abu Dhabi, but then Omicron came and spoiled everything for us. And back in January 7th, when we met those who could manage and go to Dubai and met for the ExCom meeting, we had to sit and become realistic because our members' safety is our first concern. And this when we all opted for going again to the online platform. And ever since that date until today, the contest management team has been relentless, meeting sometimes twice a week, more than, I don't know, we stopped counting. Schüttler is smiling and the other contest management team are in the house. It's been a daunting process. You have no idea. Revisiting and fixing that because lots of changes has happened, lots of changes and many modifications. This is why we have decided to run this important session. I know many contests have happened, many are in progress, but it's our responsibility to share and update you with some of the details and guidelines that must be implemented from all the contests happening from now onwards. And this is the purpose of this session. I really thank the 73 members so far who have logged in despite their heavy schedule. But before we begin, are you familiar with the reverse meetings? Can anyone, do you know reverse meetings? You know, when we start with the general evaluation and then we do the stuff? Okay, today we will have a reverse training session because usually we end with the vote of thanks. Now I would like to start with the vote of thanks because what happens? We finish the session and everyone goes for dinner and, you know, hides. I would like all the contest management team to switch on their camera, please. Where are you? Where's Sudha? Maybe she's running around. You see, these individuals, I mean, I owe them, I really owe them with everything that they've been going through handling my nonsense, all the requests, fixing this, fixing that. I would like all of you, to give them a standing ovation to DTM Shetlur, Arnold, Suda, for all the work they've been doing over the past, ever since the beginning of the term, but last month has been really, really crazy for these guys. And whoever, the best people to ask these days about their online contests and anything are these people. I'm included as well. I have to because I'm the PQD, but they didn't have to, but they did it willingly, voluntarily, and we all owe them for everything they've done. So I don't say standing ovation because I don't know if you can stand wearing shorts or pants. I don't know what's happening after, but let's give them all a big round of applause because they really, really deserve it. And of course, our Zoom Jays, Ram and Shuchita, thank you so much for stepping in the last minute and also meeting with us and giving us some feedback on how to take this session forward. It will be interactive. There'll be lots of questions. We'll test your knowledge here and then. So don't hide behind the screen and be ready for that. So now without further ado, I'd like to hand over to I don't know how to describe him. He's a gem of a person, always smiling. Even in the most stressful moments, he always smiles. DTM Shetlur, I cannot thank you enough for your guidance. You, the expert, you did a fabulous job with the PQD team last year, and we carried on this year as well. We couldn't have done it without your help. We owe you for that. And it's indeed our privilege to hand over the floor to DTM Shetlur Prashad. He doesn't need an introduction. Past division C director and a fabulous, fabulous leader. Over to you, DTM Shetlur, to hand over, to start the proceedings of the meeting, and then I'll take over.
Thank you, DTM Rania, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, everyone. DTM Ramanujan, can I share this screen, please?
Yes, you can, Shetlur, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Can you please confirm if you can see the slides? Thank you very much. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone who's attended the session. The session will go in this manner. The first part of the slides and explanations, I'll be doing it. There will be a session which DTM Rania would be doing it. Post these two sessions, there is a special time earmarked for question and answer sessions, and that is when we can have a question and answer session and we'll answer the questions. And just a small caveat here, just in case we are not able to answer the questions, we will definitely get back to you. This is with this, can we all start? Can I get a very resounding yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So what is the objective of this session? In this session, we will try to understand, inculcate, and invite, if possible, what is a speech contest, how do you organize speech contest, and what do we have to keep in mind when we want to conduct a contest. So this is the whole purpose of this, and more of it has already been shared by DTM Rania earlier. So let's move on. So this is the main contest rule book. This is the main guide which we have to follow. And please understand, I request every member who's present here, and please go back and tell other members as well. It is extremely important to read the speech contest rule book. In whatever capacity we are going to participate in the contest. In capacity, I mean whether I'm a contestant or role player or judge or chief judge, whatever is my role. It's very advisable that we go through the speech rule contest. And please understand very carefully that no exceptions are permitted. Some basic guidelines, we know this just to bring them to the top of the mind. Technology, connectivity, all these things are very, very important. Software, device, lighting, mic, camera, internet. And please understand whether I am a contestant or a role player or a judge or chief or whatever, connectivity is an individual responsibility. If I'm a contestant, connectivity is my responsibility. And one of the most important recommendations that we do from the PQD team is that please have backups for all the roles, because we are in an online contest platform. And one of the important points which you have to bear in mind is to ensure that we plan for technical glitches, which means we kind of foresee that it can happen as a risk element. And when we are preparing the agenda, we need to have some kind of a time allocated for that so that we don't exceed the time that is meant for the contest. So we'll start the online contest guidelines right now. The contest for the area, division, and district levels should be conducted using the online platform only. This is the directive which comes from TMI, meaning all contestants and functionaries, which means the role players, judges, chief judge, everyone must be participating from physically distant locations. This is one of the guideline. The online contest must be conducted using live audio video conferencing tools like what we are doing right now. It has to be on an online platform. As a contingency measure, please have another method of communication beyond the online platform to allow all the contest officials, whether you're the contest organizers, role players, chief judge, contest chairs, we can communicate, whether it can be email or it can be a WhatsApp. Please have all these methods of communication very clearly established very early, even before the contest begins or as part of the contest planning process. This is a very highly recommended thing from the PQD. Again, it's again recommended that we use the latest online platform. This is one thing I would like to stress upon. We have seen in the past that there could be some occasions where, due to this incompatibility of online platforms, some technical issues may also happen. So please ensure, as contest organizers, please ensure that all the contestants, role players, everybody are using the latest version, or at least have a common version for the entire platform for that particular contest. Please ensure that this is happening. So also have a competent Zoom master to manage the platform so that the contest can run in a smooth manner. And the third point is extremely important. We are stressing this all over again. And this point, many of the points I'm reinforcing or stressing again because of our experiences and the data that we have collected because of what has happened in the last 1 year of conducting online contest, whether it's at the club level, area, division, district level. So this is a culmination of all the data. So I said we're reinforcing the point, we're stressing it again. Judges, tally counters, please do not, their photo should not be there, the name should not be displayed, the camera should be turned off. And this time we are also going one step further, we are also including the tally counters. Let them not display anything, let them be numbered as T1, T2, T3 or J1, J2, J3 for the judges, and then please have the cameras off, and obviously the audio and the video should be off for all these role players and the judges.
There are a number of polls that will show up now.
You will have a few polls coming up. You can please answer these questions, and then once you have answered the questions, then you can probably, I'll wait for a second, then we'll continue. Can I share the results right away, or I have to wait? Okay. So the online contest guideline says, I'm a bit surprised, but fairly okay. 37% people are saying yes, and 63% are saying no, which means the answer is no. So all the people who voted for yes, please change your answer to no. Okay, so it will become 100% no for us. Now, virtual backgrounds are totally not recommended, though in the humorous international speech contest, we do say that if the contestant decides, they can have it. But please do understand, when we have a plain natural background or a plain background, the judges and the audience will be able to clearly see. The images will not be distorted. This is the reason why we are saying, but definitely for table topics and evaluation contests, we are saying virtual backgrounds will not be allowed. Going further, when we look at the speech evaluation contest, contest chair should also ensure that the target speaker is renamed as test or test speaker or backup test speaker, and his audio and video should be off, and it should be on only when the target speaker is delivering his speech. Otherwise, the rest of the time it should be kept off. And in an online contest, irrespective of what is the contest, it is recommended that contestants stand and deliver the presentation for the benefit of the audience and the judges. This is only a recommendation. One very important thing that we have said and we want to reinforce again is the contest chair should run a separate eligibility check on each contestant to confirm whether they're eligible to compete, which means they have to be members in good standing from a club in good standing. So there are two parts to this eligibility. A is the member being in good standing, and B, the club itself being in good standing. So it's important that the contest chair, and I would very strongly recommend all of us to please read the contest rule book about eligibility. That would be a very good thing to understand. There are a few changes as well, so you may have to note that. So now when the contest chair, at the time when he is deciding who's the test speaker, I'm talking of the speech evaluation contest chair, he should ensure that the test speaker is a paid member and from a club in good standing. This is very important. Second thing, he's not a presenter of an education session or a contest chair committee chair or anything like that, including area, division, and business, as well as in the international events. And the candidate or the person who's going to be the test speaker should not be a candidate selected for any district leadership position from the term starting from July 1st. All these people are eligible to serve as test speaker in area, division, or district contest. So the contest chair, please note, whoever is going to take up the role of a speech evaluation contest chair, please keep these in mind when you're selecting the test speaker. One of the recommendations which we are continuing to do from last year is the recommendation that with 48 hours prior to the start of the contest, all the briefings should be done and completed. So that it gives enough and more time to everybody to prepare for the contest. So we very strongly recommend that 48 hours prior to the contest, all the briefing, whether it is the contestant, the role players, judges, timers, tally counters, all the people whosoever has to be briefed, those briefing sessions are conducted and completed. And again, we're reinforcing, and we would see this happening right through many more slides, if I'm not mistaken, that connectivity is the responsibility of the role player. And here, when we say role player, we're including judges and chief judge and everything, and the contestants. We very strongly, again, recommend multiple rehearsals for all role plays, and specifically in our table topics and evaluation contest, because there is a lot of movement of the contestants from the main room to the breakout room and back again to the main room. So all these, when we do these rehearsals, the contestants, the role players, everybody understand what needs to be done, and then the contest will progress in a very smooth manner. So this is extremely important. So we recommend this very strongly, that multiple rehearsals be done. And please ensure, as contest chairs or contest organizers, please ensure that any question anybody can have, whether it is a contestant or role player, let us try and make an effort to answer all the questions, because it's important to answer questions and all of them having clarity for the smooth functioning of the contest itself. So the contest chair will do the draw of lots as part of the briefing session. And again, it is recommended to use an online randomizer tool to arrive at the sequencing of the contestants, and that will be the sequence in which the contestants will deliver either the speeches, or they will be called for table topics, or they will deliver the speech evaluations, depending on which contest it is. This is one very important thing, and this is some addition which has come in this year in more detailed manner. This is about the speaking area. The contest chair during the briefing should set a standard speaking area and help the contestants to adjust with their technology. We will speak a bit more about it. There's a specific slide for this, but for now, the idea is just to understand that everybody should have a standard speaking area as much as possible. We will dwell a little bit more deeper in the further slide. For now, let us understand this. So while all contestants will be speaking from their own space using their own technology, speaking area should set to be roughly the same size for each event. This is where we are trying to bring in uniformity in the contest and in the speaking area. It's extremely important that we have the similar kind of a scenario set for all the contestants. And this is why the slide on this particular point has been very clearly emphasized. So the whole idea of setting the speaking area should be is to maximize the view of the contestant without sacrificing on the audio and video quality. For example, if a contestant is too far away from the screen, then probably he would not be audible, or if he's too near, then he may not be very clearly visible to the judges and the audience. So the contest chair will have to set the optimum level for the speaking area. Again, here is a slide where this is where it is very nicely detailed, and my recommendation is please go through this online speech contest best practice rule book for Toastmaster year 21-22 document. In that document, this particular speaking area, how to do it is very clearly explained. So it says you have to be at least 3 to 5 feet away from the camera. The contestant will check the audio and video is very clear. The microphones are clear. It's audible. People can hear. Some people may use wireless audio devices. Some people may use a wired. If somebody is using a wired, probably he may not have the space to go for 3 feet. You may have to ask the contestant to come a bit ahead. And then when we do that setting for a person who's using a wired thing, then all the rest contestants should have the same kind of a speaking area setup. This is extremely important. This is why in the earlier slide also, we were talking about how the speaking area has to be set, and please follow these guidelines. And as a contest chair, it is important you have a standard speaking area set, and please advise the contestants. And for contestants who are there right today, it is very much advisable to please mark your speaking area so it is easy for you when you actually come into the contest and deliver. So this is our recommendation. So the contestant should carefully mark the entire speaking area. It's better. Going on with the online contest guidelines, we recommend that the role players, contest chairs, judges, tutors should have logged in at least 1 hour before the start of the contest, just to ensure that any last minute changes has to be made or anything adjustment or some learning, just to ensure the contest goes on well. And Chief Sergeant at Arms, and this is something which is very important. There is something called as an online speech contest statement, which again is there in that best practices room, online contest best practices rule book for 21-22. And there is a particular statement, and that statement will come in the subsequent slides that has to be read out at the start of the contest. I think that is why we are saying the Chief Sergeant at Arms, if we have multiple contests, then the Chief Sergeant at Arms will actually read out this online statement. Secondly, and in the Chief Sergeant at Arms script in the checklist document, which is released by the PQD, we have actually mentioned this particular online speech statement. This is directly from what TMI has given us, and this has to be done. And second thing, while we are talking about online speech contest statement, there is a particular form for online speech video form. All the contestants will have to sign that form as well. So contest chairs, please remember this. Or whoever is taking up the role of the contest chair, please remember this. And the contest organizing team, whoever is organizing the contest, we have to display this statement in a location which is visible to all the attendees and participants. So please ensure that this is displayed in a prominent place. Now, this is the online statement. I'm not going to go through this, just for you to know that this is what it is. This is the statement that's come from TMI, and this is what has already been incorporated in the checklist document. And this is what we need to display on the online contest. And the Chief Sergeant will actually read out this particular statement. So again, when you talk of a contest, technically, we have to start at a club level, then it will progress into area, division, and district levels respectively. So all contestants will have to move through this particular sequence, irrespective of what is the contest. Only contestants following this progression are permitted at the area, division, and district levels. Of course, we all know that a club retains the prerogative to either conduct a contest or nominate members for the area contest. Anyway, that still constitutes to be part of this same adhering to the progression for moving from a club to the area. So let there be clarity on that as well. All clubs eligible to advance contestants to the A level, all in all contests, regardless of the contest language or the primary language of the club. So contestants, please note this. This eligibility is a very important thing. There are some new entrants, new changes. So I'll just go through them for you. To be eligible to compete in an official speech contest, a member must, and I'm deliberately straight away reading from the slide because that is how it is worded in the speech rule book. Be a paid member in a club, area, division, and district in which he or she is competing. The club must also be in a good standing. A dual member, recent member must have paid dues and membership application current with the world headquarters. So there are a few questions which was asked earlier. Just to clarify one point, a very common question is that I have paid my fees, but it has, as the membership fee has to be updated or paid to the world headquarters. That is when a member becomes a member in good standing. Otherwise, it does not qualify to be in good standing. And also with the club. So here we'll have to be very careful. Again, I'm reinforcing this point. The member has to be in good standing and the club has to be in good standing to be competing in a contest, irrespective of what contest it is, any of the 4 contests. Now here is where the new addition has come. If at any level, which means I could be at the area level, division level, district level, the DTAC contest as well, it is determined that the contestant was ineligible to compete for any reason, whether he is not a member in good standing or the club is not in good standing, he can be disqualified at that level. So this is very important for all of us to understand. And this disqualification must occur even if the ineligibility is discovered at a later level. For example, the ineligibility happened when the contestant was in an area contest and it got discovered at division contest. And there too, the disqualification has to be applied because the member or the contestant is not eligible. Then we can still correct it, and TMI rules guidelines allows us to correct this. So please note this. This is a very important point for all the members who are attending today. And please carry this message to all your members and contest organizers and contestants when you go back to your respective clubs. There's an additional eligibility. This is a standard rule. I don't want to spend much time. We know about this. 6 speeches from a CC manual or level 1 and 2 of a path-based learning experience. The only exception is that a charter member of club is less than 1 year is permitted to compete without having to adhere to the A and B requirements mentioned above. So you can still participate if you're a chartered member within a year. So ineligibility has been more detailed at any level. Remember, when he's serving as a voting judge in a particular contest, you cannot contest and be a contestant. So basically what it means is, one of the recommended practice which I personally would advocate is, we have to decide prior to the contest season whether we want to be a contestant or we want to be a role player. That will be the most easiest thing to do, and continue doing that. And that will be the most important, best way to handle it. But otherwise, if I have to know what is to be done, these are the pointers. District level international officers, candidates, education business, contest chairs, role player judges, all these people of particular contest are ineligible. So multiple memberships at a club level, yes, if I'm a member of 2 clubs, at a club level, I can participate in both or all the 4 contests from both the clubs. But once I start advancing, I can only participate in one type of contest in one area, even if the divisions and districts are different. So please understand, at the end of it, I will be a contestant in one. I'll be contesting with one contest. For example, I cannot contest an evaluation in division A and probably be an evaluation contestant in division B. That's what I'm trying. Or whether even if the divisions are in different districts. So one contest and one area for one division, whatever is the progression. So area contest, what is if you have 4 clubs and fewer, then 2 members can advance to the division level. If the area has got 5 clubs and more, then we'll have only 1 contestant going. But before that 8 weeks, if there's any club has got chartered, then that club, the chartered club, can send in 2 contestants. That's the only exception on this. But otherwise, there's 4 clubs and 4 and below and 4 and above, 5 and above. The rule holds good. So here's one small, we start about speech and subject, then contestants must create their own speeches and each must be substantially original, and this is very important. 25% or less speech must be devoted to quoting and paraphrasing. And contestants, please note that if we are quoting something, we need to quote the source as part of the speech. So please make it part of the speech. If I'm, for example, if I want to, my opening is a quote, please also mention the name of the author or the person who gave the quote. So that's what is referencing and paraphrasing. We need to do that. Okay, must very much be identified, and that's how we identify the quoted text. And very important thing is, please do not reference any other contestant or a speech by another contestant from the same platform at the same contest where we are competing. Now, what we mean by this is, if I'm a contestant in a humorous contest, I cannot take any reference material from another contestant who has delivered any speeches before me. It can be 1, 2, 3, depending on the speaking order. So all contestants, all members, please note this. So this was introduced last year. So this year again, we're just reinforcing it so that we're all aware of this rule. Now, this is a general guideline about how to prepare for a contest. And so 8 weeks, please, before. And this whole idea, this has come out with the idea that we need to conduct a professionally managed and a smooth functioning contest. This is from that perspective that we have designed. What do we have to do at different timelines? And this is how things will have to happen. Starting from 8 weeks prior to the event share and 2 days prior to the contest, culminating at rehearsals, and then everybody is ready for the contest. So please plan it. This is just a recommended plan, but this is something which will work. So some contest roles we'll talk about right now. So these are the various roles that are generally there in the contest. You have a contestant and a Zoom masters, master of ceremony, contest chair, sergeant at arms, and they have judge, voting judges, tiebreaker judges, timers, and telecounters. These are the 2 basic guidelines. This is what will happen. This is just for our reference and understanding. Again, I'm saying the chief sergeant at arms, when he opens the contest, he sets the ground rules and should read out the online speech contest statement. And we are again reinforcing this just for our memory. So a contest organizer should ensure that the same thing has been displayed at location where all the members, it's visible to all the members. So it's also very important to observe and secure all the breakout rooms so that the contestants, the movement of the contestants is done only at the appropriate time and manner. And will assist the contest chair and MC for any specified role. This is what the chief sergeant at arms and the team will be primarily looking at. And this role becomes extremely important and, in fact, a bit more critical in the speech evaluation and the tabletop contests. Some more points on the contest. The contest chair should ensure that the contestants are eligible to compete and familiar with the contest rules. That's when the briefing becomes very important. And the contest chair can look at the checklist document and prepare what is to be done, what is there. A lot of details are mentioned in the document as to how it is to be done and what is to be done. We very strongly recommend that contest chair, at least for that particular contest for which is a contest chair, please go through the checklist document and we can take it from there. And please define the speaking area as I've mentioned it earlier, and again reinforcing it. as per the online speech content best practice 2021 documents. It's very clearly laid out ground rules. Please use them. And the contest chair should be very clear and very proficient. It's better technology and all the elements of the contest, simply because simply to ensure that the smooth functioning of the contest. So all the voting judges, chief judges, timers, counters, role players, they all know their duties, and provide them with whatever digital ballots, data, whatever is required. Contest chair, please take care of all that and run that quite a small check so that everything is in place. And 48 prior to the contest, conduct contestant briefing. Please explain everything. Conduct the draw of lots using a randomizing software. And if possible, please collect the eligibility and that online video form as well. So this has to be done by the contest chair for all the contests. So contest chairs who are taking the role, please don't miss out on collecting the online form. So if I am a contest chair for an international and a humorous speech contest, then it is important for me to collect the speech title and the contestants' information, and that forms have to be filled and ask them to send it back to the contest chair. If I am the table topics contest chair, then please note that the table topic contest chair will prepare the table topics for the contest. If I am an evaluation contest chair, then the evaluation contest chair will select the test speaker and the backup test speaker. Now, this backup test speaker is a recommended practice just in case the test speaker is unable to get disconnected or whatever. There's a backup test speaker so that the contest can continue smoothly. So we very strongly recommend to have a backup test speaker as well. So the contest chair will, whichever the contest chair you are, all the 4 contests, in brief, please do state the contest rules for the benefit of the audience and probably to reinforce to the contestants and everyone that is present there. It's important that we generally give the ground rules or the contest rules. Conduct the contest, present the awards, perform post-contest requirements. And one extremely important thing that we stress for all the time is practice, practice, and practice. Please have your scripts. The checklist document has scripts for your reference. You can use them, modify them, add wherever that is required, because you may have to add the names of the contestants and things like that. And please practice so that the whole contest can go in a very smooth manner. And contest chairs, please note who has taken the role, please sign the certificates. It is the prerogative of the contest chair to sign the participation or the winner certificates. The table topics contest chair, we thought we'll spend a bit of a time on this and we'll give you a sequence on how this is to be done. Again, just reinforcing, the table topics contest chair shall prepare the topics that are general in nature for the contest. And the table topics are to be in a sealed envelope and not numbered. I reinforce not numbered, because this is the guideline from TMI, so we need to follow this, not numbered. These are blank envelopes which will contain the topics. The contest chair will shuffle all the envelopes and then he will choose one envelope. So please note, contest chair, table topics contest chair, the contest chair will select the envelope, and whatever the envelope the contest chair selects, that the table topic inside that envelope will be the topic for the contest. So please understand this very carefully. Then the contest chair should request the Zoom master to ensure all the contestants are moved except the first contestant. All the other contestants are moved to the breakout room. And please, contest chair, take a confirmation from the Zoom master before you start beginning the contest. It's extremely important that the Zoom master and whoever is going to take up the role of Zoom master, please remember to confirm to the contest chair that all the all the contests in the breakout room. And it is also advisable that the chief judge also visits the breakout room, and the chief judge also come back, and the contest chair sees the chief judge sitting in the main room, and he will ask the Zoom master, and probably it's also not a bad practice to ask the chief judge if he can start the contest. It will be a good practice as well. So the contestant, once he gets the confirmation from the Zoom master, chief judge, whatever, then the contest chair will open the envelope and read out the topic twice to the first contestant. This is the process that we need to follow very carefully, and we need to adhere to this process if I am going to take up the role as a table topics contest chair, or this is how the table topics contest should start. So we request every member present here to please make note of this. Now, the chief judge is a very important person, yes. So one of the things which we have seen and we want to emphasize here is the chief judge identifies and appoints the judges. This is extremely important. I again reinforce the chief judge will identify and appoint the judges. It's not anybody else. So ensure judges, contestants, and role players are eligible as per the speech contest rule book. So even the judges have to be eligible. And there are certain criteria mentioned in the speech contest rule book. So please go through them as a chief judge, reinforce it, and ensure that the judges are eligible to judge the contest. The chief judge will brief the judges about the contest and the timers and the tally counters. It's extremely important that the chief judge does conduct these briefing sessions. And all the people who have agreed, given their consent to be judges, my personal request, or from PQD, what we request is please ensure that we attend all the briefings by the chief judge. It's extremely important to attend. And the chief judge will monitor the contest and he will give guidance to the contest chair as and when required, and then he will take it from there. We encourage the chief judge, and of course we encourage all the members to read this, to go through the speech contest tutorial that are available on TMI website. And the other thing which is very important is there are some changes with respect to the protests and disqualifications, which will be detailed in the further slides later. But please note that the protest and disqualification will be managed by the contest chair. Sorry, the chief judge, I'm sorry. So please pardon me. So there are two forms which the chief judge will have to fill, and we request every member to please note that it is mandatory to please fill these forms. The one is the results form, which is available on TMI website. You can please download. If not there, please send us an email. We will mail you those forms. The results form is when the chief judge will fill the result form and send it to the contest chair. The notification of winners is a very important document. This will go to the next district level, and the ranking of all the contestants who have participated in the contest should be mentioned in the notification of winners form. And just in case, let us say the first contestant is not able to attend the contest or go forward, it is from the notification of winners that the second contestant will be chosen. So please ensure, if anybody takes on the role of chief judge, please ensure that this form is filled and signed and send it to the next district official. What's meant by next district official is, if it is an area contest, then you would send it to the division director. If it is a division, if it's a division contest, after the division contest, it will go to the DTAC chair. So that is the next level of district official we're talking about. But yes, we can always mark a CC to the area director and the division director, but then the mail has to be addressed to the next district official. Now here's some more clarity or more emphasis on how the timers. We will have 2 timers. We also recommend 3, but 2 is what they will all work independently and they will report only to the chief judge. So please understand, the timers and tally counters are part of the chief judge and the judges team. So one very important thing is that the timers, both the timers, should not be visible to any contestant. So which means that cameras have to be closed. And if I'm going to use a virtual background, when I'm showing the light that's green, amber, or red, only that has to be visible on the screen and not the timer. Now, one very important point I want to reinforce here for everyone is timer 1 is the official timekeeper for the contest. Please note, and he will record the timing in the form 1175 and give it to the chief judge. So again, I'm saying timer 1 is the official timekeeper for the contest. Timer 2 is a timer who will also have a stopwatch who will actually display the signaling device. That means he will display the green, amber, and red on the virtual backgrounds. And the timer 2 does not, please understand, does not submit a time record to the chief judge. So we recommend that we all use TMI branded backgrounds when we are displaying a timer 2. I would request whoever is taking up the role of the timer to please familiarize yourself with and practice with Zoom backgrounds, because that way it becomes easy for us when we are doing the contest. So there is no challenge that will come forward, and there's no disturbance because of the signals not being displayed properly or whatever during the contest. And timers, please do attend the briefing. That's very important. And our very strong recommendation is please know all the rules of the contest and know how the technology works. And one other point here I want to add here is in the evaluation contest, I think when it comes forward, I'll talk, but I'm going to talk right away. During an evaluation, speech evaluation contest, timer 1 is the person who will go and do the timing for the 5 minutes for notes taking. So please note that we'll talk more about it towards the end, but please note that as well. Since we're talking about timer 1, I thought I'll mention this as well. So the ballot counters or tally counters, again, same thing. One of the most important thing is that the contest organizers, please understand, please ensure that the tally counters are also anonymous, like the judges. So it's very important that they are anonymous, and if we want to give them a certificate, please give it to the chief judge, like what we would do for all the other judges, and please don't call them during the contest to give them the certificates. Let's refrain from doing that. So the tally counters will collect the certificates from the chief judge. So their role is to collect all the ballots from the voting judges, and the tiebreaker judge will send the ballot, his or her ballot, only and only to the chief judge and not to the telecounters. So when we are briefing the judges, please understand this to be briefed, and we're telling the telecounters, but please make them understand that they should get only the ballots from the voting judges. So then they will tabulate using that form, and then they will share the result with the chief judge. Now it's time now to know more about the guidelines. I will hand over from here, if I'm not mistaken, to our PQD, DTM Rania, who has
Thank you
been
so much.
Please continue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DTM Chetlu. But let's see if the crowd is still awake and has been attentive. So our Zoom Jay, can you please start with the polls? Let's say for that's question 2 up to question 8. Let's start with question number 2. Does the poll stop automatically, or you control it, Zoom Master?
Stopped PQD. 51% people have voted.
All right. All right. So let's share the results. I'll share the results, or you? Team Shetlu, are you there? Let me share the results.
Yes,
so basically, yes. So basically, the question is, can contestants use virtual backgrounds? And only for international humorous contests, not for the above. So those who thought for the above and evaluation and table topics, please take note, virtual backgrounds are not allowed in evaluation and table topics contests. And it's not recommended for international humorous because it might jeopardize the quality of your delivery. So refrain from using virtual backgrounds in all the contests, but evaluation and table topics, it is not allowed because we need to see the background of the setup. So no backgrounds in evaluation and table topics contests. Next poll, please. All right, can the contestants set the speaking area as they wish? Of course, the answer is no. As the TM Shu has mentioned, this is the new guideline. It's not up to their own, mood. We have to attend the briefing, and as the contest chair advises, based on the limitation of the contestants, if the one contestant cannot basically speak further to a certain distance, then everyone else has to abide by that distance. This is the new guideline by Team I. And even at the district conference, if this is not abided, even the recording can be disqualified. So pay attention to that, contest chairs and contestants. All right. Next poll, please. Yes, to those who said no, it is, yes, they are disqualified. So even if a contestant wins at the area or the club level, and later on we found out that on that day, the club, let's say, was not in good standing, then that contestant will be immediately disqualified and we'll call on the next contestant, the second place winner. Next poll, please. All right, the answer is no, because the rule is clear. Areas with 4 clubs and below are only allowed to send 2 contestants. So even if one club intends to participate in that area, you only have 2 contestants. So the maximum would be 8 for areas with 4 and below. Areas with 5 and above, the maximum is 1 member from every club. So the answer is no, they cannot send 3. Next poll, please. The answer is no. It has to be read at the beginning of every single contest. You have 4 contests on the day. This needs to be read and displayed at the beginning of every single contest, not only once. This is very important, and it's a new rule by Team I. So please, in your contest, 4 contests, 4 times. Thank you. Next poll, please. Now, for those who said yes, the answer is no. Only the contest chair prepares the table topics, and the contest chair for the evaluation picks the test speaker. The chief judge has nothing to do with that. So please, from now on, only the contest chair are in charge of preparing the questions and picking up the test speaker and the backup test speaker. Chief judge is not involved in this at all. How many questions left, Master? Because I lost track. Let's leave.
Still one more.
Okay, so can you use the last one, and then I'll take over. Yes, timer 1 is the main timer. That means he or she is in charge of jotting down the timing record to be shared with the chief judge. So he or she is the main official timer and not timer 2. Timer 2 is only there to display the cards or the virtual background. So timer 1 is the official timer, and also he's the one to time for the evaluators in the evaluation speech contest. Thank you so much. So now, thank you, DDM Schittler, for highlighting the basics. Now let's go to some technicalities, all right? So can you please move on to the next slide? Yes, so contestants, dear contestants. So many times I hear this argument, well, I only have to prepare for the speech and come. Contestants, you are entitled to certain rules and regulations. You need also to be aware and familiar with the guidelines, the rule book, to know what are you entitled of, what are the rules, what are you're accountable for, and in case of any glitches, you need to know what you are entitled of, because you prepare and prepare and prepare, and for one single detail that you're not familiar with, you might be disqualified. For example, I paid my dues. Has the treasurer paid for TMI? You have to check as well. Is my club in good standing as well? You need to be aware of these details, because it happened before that winners in contests, they were disqualified and they were not even aware of the fact that the clubs were not in good standing. So you need also to be aware of these rules, not only the area directors and division directors, but also you as contestants. Contestants briefing is very crucial. First of all, now you have to know the speaking area. This is ideal. This is very crucial as well. And to know, again, the instructions in terms of technical glitches that will be shared by the contest chair. This is going to be agreed upon by the contest chair and, of course, the chief judge. Now, your connectivity is your responsibility. And this is why we stress on the fact that be prepared and have a backup device. We do not object to having a backup device. You need to announce it and inform the contest chair beforehand that you basically want to log on from a laptop and a tablet or a cell phone. That's fine, but you need to inform the contest chair in advance and use that and test that in the test briefing. Once you are disconnected, you always have plan B, contingency plan is ready. So always have a backup. If you know that area in the house has the best connectivity, stay in that room. If the contest is happening, let's say during some daytime, test the area to ensure that the lighting, for example, is not blocking your view. You don't become dark. So always test the speaking area with the contest chair exactly as identical as the speaking, or let's say the contest conditions are going to take place. So have a clear speaking area, lights and sound. Pin the timer as well. And with that, I would like to advise you, try to log in from a laptop, not from a cell phone, because I've seen it before, depending on the type of the cell phone, where the contestants struggle to find the timer. Timer 1 and timer 2 as well, because in case of a technical glitch and timer 2 is out, then timer 1 will take over and show the backgrounds. So try to ensure that you use a laptop, because there you can have a bigger screen, you can easily pin the timers. Cell phones can sometimes be a struggle. But you are the masters of your domain. You know exactly what works for you, but this is our advice for you. And of course, in pursuing with integrity and have respect to the contest rule book, especially those in the breakout rooms. We don't know who's in there with you in the room. Please be cooperative, listen to the instructions by the contest chair and SAAs, and let's all collaborate in order to ensure the flow of the contest. And again, your technology and connectivity is your responsibility. Next slide, please. In the breakout room, as I mentioned, table topics and evaluation will be moved to the breakout room under the observation of the Sergeant at Arms. Now, for the evaluation contestants as well, as you know, you're going to be moved in with timer 1, will be given 5 minutes to write your notes. Now, what happens, and what I've seen in many contests, once the contestants are moved to the breakout room, and in the main room, they say, please start timing. The timing happens inside the breakout room, not outside. Because by the time the contestant move to the breakout room, let's imagine you have 6 contestants. The chief judge has to go inside. They have to ensure with the sergeant at arms that the speaking area is clear, no one is in the room. We have to see the tables where they're going to write their notes because we have to see them writing their notes. This would take some time. So the timing happens once the chief judge gives the signal to the timer 1 inside the breakout room, start timing, and that's when we start timing for 5 minutes. So the whole process might take 5 or might take 7 to 8 minutes. So as contest chair outside, prepare some entertainment, maybe a stable topic segment, interview the test speaker because it will take longer than 5 minutes. So don't time outside, the timing happens inside, and this is why we advise to have a sort of collaboration between the contest chair, the chief judge with the timers to indicate that the timing is starting now. Do whatever you want to do outside in order to finish the timing. Then timer 1 will move again to the main room and then hand over the proceedings in order to call on contestant number 1 in the evaluation contest. This is very important. Notes cannot be taken on tablets or cell phone. We need to see, we're old school. We need to see you writing on papers, white papers. And the sergeant at arms will please show us the papers on the table. We have to see the pens, the pencils, whatever you want to use. And we have to see this happening during the entire note jotting process for 5 minutes. And once the time is up, you put aside your notes and you have to see your hands. The sergeant at arms needs to be attentive. So one sergeant at arms is not enough, have more, 2 or 3 to make it easy to control. It's not there to spy. This is basically in order to ensure integrity. And we request all the contestants to be cooperative in this regard. And of course, follow breakout guidelines given by the contest chair. Now, Zoom Master, can you please share the poll? There's one question now before I move to the next slide. Right? Protests can be lodged by members of the audience. The majority, 96%, said no. 4% said yes. The answer, of course, is no. Next slide, please. Protests are limited to voting judges and contestants only. Members of the audience cannot protest. So only the contestants and the judges. And you, when you want to lodge a protest, contestant, you share it privately to the contest chair, not on your share group. Judges share it to the chief judge privately, not in the common group you have, if you have a group together. And then, of course, follow the guidelines on how to lodge a protest. The chief judge will basically signal the judges there's a protest. We open a breakout room, they move in, and every single detail on the process is in the handbook. So please go to the handbook and see how it is done in detail. So everyone is there. The chief judges and the judges are basically summoned to the breakout room. They have to discuss it. Then they call on the contestant upon the protest has been lodged against, and the contestant has to prove his case, and then the majority of judges need, of course, to discuss it and decide what's going to happen. Next slide, please. So again, before the contestant can be disqualified on the basis of originality or references, he or she must give him the opportunity, as I said, to respond to the voting judge. And then the majority of judges need to accept whether this contestant is disqualified or can basically proceed. And of course, the contest chair can disqualify a contestant based on eligibility. Zoom Master, the next poll, please, the last poll of the day, before we move to the next slide. Okay. Now the question says here, can a contestant, let's say in a humorous contest, lodge a protest at the area contest after the end of the humorous contest, even though the winners have not been announced? No, they cannot. And now I'll explain why in the next slide. So any protest should be lodged before the contest is adjourned. And when I say adjourned, that means the contest is over. Now, if you check on the contest rubric, this is very important, and this is a very clear statement in page number 13.M4. If there are multiple contests in an event, so an area contest might have more than 2 contests, basically, like 4 contests. Each of the contests need to be adjourned. That means the contest chair of the humorous contest finishes, hands over the certificates, then he or she states, and now I adjourn the contest, and hands over to the next person in charge in the contest, the SAA, to start again reading the online statement and handing over to the next contest chair. So before that moment, the contest chair adjourns the contest, the contestants or the judges can lodge a protest. But after that minute, after that statement, no protests are allowed at all, even though the results are not announced. Because this is the new guideline from Toastmasters International. Because before, if you remember, used to say at the end of the contest or at the end of the event, or even before the winners are announced. Now this has changed. And please go to the changes in the rulebook document that is also uploaded on the district website that clearly states that contests or protests can only be lodged before the contest is adjourned. That doesn't mean the area contest, each particular contest. So once the contest is over and a humorous contest wants to lodge a protest after the contest is over, then no, they cannot. It's over. They lost their chance. I hope that is clear for everyone. Next slide, please. Now let's speak about the technical glitches. Now, as you remember, last year we had lots of debate and discussions and what would work there, what would work there. And of course, we didn't have an experience. And as I said, the PQD team last year met with many districts around the world as well to collate as many information in order to make it practical. We had our own share of experience last year, and we decided that these are the most practical technical glitches rules, which will be applied from now onwards, even up to the district level. So the district and DTAC, these are the technical glitches that will be applied for division contests and the remaining area contests. Let's start now with the humorous and international speech contest. Next slide, please. So let's say the contestant reports at the contest, that means they're there, and they lose a connection before they begin. At this moment, the contest chair will immediately request the next contestant in line in the drawing lot to start speaking. And the contestant who's been disconnected needs to reconnect before that the next contestant finishes his or her speech. Right? So in the case they cannot connect, after the next contestant in line basically is able, then they have to forego the contest. The contest chair, of course, during that process, it might be 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the length of the next contestant's speech, texting on the WhatsApp, calling them. And this is why we said have a backup device just in case, because you cannot sometimes guarantee the online platform. Let's say this happens to the last contestant of this in the speech contest. Then this contestant will be given the equal amount of time as any previous contestant, that is 7 minutes. So they have 7 minutes to be able to connect again to the platform. If they cannot do that, then they have to forego the contest because they are the last contestants in line. Next slide, please. Now, if the contestant loses connection during the speech, now this is applying for the humorous international speech contest, then the contest chair chief judge will, of course, stop the contest. Timer 1 will stop and note down where they have stopped in terms of timing. That is timer 1, because timer 1 is the main timer, as we mentioned. And of course, the contest chair needs to contact the contestant, phone, WhatsApp, and he or she is given only 2 minutes to be able to log in. Once connected, the contestant will not begin from the beginning, will begin from that moment, that sentence. So contest chairs, be attentive because you have to jot down what is the last sentence, and you have to refresh the memory of the contestant. Also, chief judges be there because we tend to not to forget. We are there to support each other, and the contestant should pick up from that moment, and they're given 30 seconds as a grace period. And the chief judge should inform the timers to point that. So they have extra 30 seconds in case of a technical glitch. Now, this also applies if a technical glitch happens on the part of the timers as well. This is also mentioned in the handbook. So either way, the contestants will get 30 seconds as a grace period. Now, the contestant will connect within 2 minutes, then the judges will need to judge based on what they have heard. Right? So they'll not be given a chance to connect again or speak. Next slide, please. If you have any questions, because I see some raised hands, please share them with the TM Suda in the private chat, and then we'll handle in the Q&A session. Okay, evaluation contest. Now, of course, in the evaluation speech contest, we have a test speaker. Let's say the test speaker got disconnected. So he or she is given 5 minutes to reconnect. Of course, we contact the test speaker, and once they connect again, they'll continue to deliver the speech again from where they have stopped, prior to the disconnection as prompted by the contest chair. Now, if the test speaker cannot connect within 5 minutes, then the backup test speaker will have to take over. And this is very important that the contest chair should inform and announce that now the backup test speaker is going to take over, and all the contestants must acknowledge the knowledge that now it's the backup test speaker. So whatever notes they're taking for the first test speaker need to be discarded. Now they have to start evaluating or taking notes again for the backup test speaker. So this has to be officially announced, and all the contestants should confirm that they are aware of the fact that the backup test speaker is now the test speaker, and the process will start all over again. All right. Next slide, please. Now, the contestant must forego the contest. When are they disqualified? Before the contestant name was officially mentioned by the contest chair, while the test speaker is delivering the speech and does not reconnect before the test speaker completes the speech. For example, the test speaker is speaking and one of the contestants is out. They have to reconnect, but if they cannot connect before the test speaker finishes the speech, then they have to forego the contest, unfortunately. While waiting in the breakout room, if they're disconnected, that's it. They forego the contest. We don't call them and come back again. That's it. They have to forego the contest. While moving in and from the breakout room, they have to forego the contest. This is very important. Now, this stress we have to have good rehearsals, very knowledgeable Zoom masters and SAAs, and excellent collaboration and coordination, and a lot of rehearsals before the contest. You cannot do that on the day of the contest. You need to do many rehearsals beforehand to ensure that everyone knows who goes in, who goes out between the contest chair, the chief judge, and other role players. And of course, while delivering the evaluation. Now, there's a very important note to mention that if the contestant rejoins the session before the test speaker completes the speech, we will not ask the test speaker to start again. The contestant has to, build their evaluation based on what they've heard. And in case the contestant is disconnected while delivering their evaluation, then again, the judges will have to judge based on what they've heard. Next slide, please. As for the table topics contest, contestants must forego the contest if before the contestant name is officially announced by the contest chair, while moving from and to the breakout room and the main contest room, while waiting in the breakout room as well. Once they're out from the contest, and while they're delivering the table topics, well, again, the judges will only judge based on what has been heard. Next slide, please. These are important additional resources that has been shared with all of you by email. Everything is uploaded on the district website. 2 months ago, we had a first judges training session by DTM Sunil, and also today's session is going to be recorded and shared also on the district YouTube channel. Please have a look at all the handbook and the details. The team has put a lot of effort on collating these important information. Even the contest checklist and the script is there. You just have to read it as it is. So we have dissected every single detail as if you are going to be a chief judge or, let's say, a sergeant at arms. We made it in a way as if it's an IKEA, IKEA manual. When you go to IKEA and you do it yourself, every single detail is there. Just go by the book, read it, and it's self-explanatory. And if you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to reach out to all of us, because we're here to support you in any way possible. Many changes happened this year, but I'm sure all of you are familiar with the basics. And I always say the Bible, our Bible, is always the contest rule book. This is our Bible, because whatever it is, breakout room or main room, the rule always applies. So pay attention to the eligibility, the guidelines, the timing, the deciding the speaking area, and of course the online contest statement and the protest rule. These are, at the top of my head, these are the main things that have changed, but please read all the documents. Now, this concludes our session, and now we're more than happy to receive your questions. We have 15 minutes extra. We basically allocated 30 minutes for the questions and answers. Now we have more questions and answers for you. So please, Sudha, please shoot the questions. We can also share our all questions as well, because we have lots of scenarios, over the past few weeks, we've been seeing lots of contests, area contests, club contests. So you can all share our own bit of experiences. Please, Sudha, over to you.
Okay. So the first question that we got from the chats is, at the end of the contest, can the judges and tally counters switch other cameras to take a group photo?
Actually, we put that in the guidelines. Do not be tempted to switch on your camera. Unfortunately, for the judges and the telecounters, you'll miss that opportunity. No one will know you, and you'll always remain anonymous, unfortunately. So please do not switch on your cameras. This is the sacrifice you'll do by becoming a judge and a telecounter. And we all respect you for that. So no group photo, no, please. And I've seen it last year, J1, J2, J3, everyone switched on their cameras and they're smiling, and you all knew who the judges were at the contest, because you get tempted for that. So please do not do that. So contest chair, when you announce group photo, you have to say except for the judges and the telecounters, because sometimes, yes, press that, that camera, that stop share video thing. Don't do that.
Thank you, Diti Abrania.
You're welcome.
Second question is, if I am a contestant in one area or division, can I be the chief judge, not a voting judge, in another area or division contest?
Do you think Shutla want to answer this question?
Do you want me to repeat?
You can go ahead. Please go ahead.
No. No.
Okay.
You cannot.
Okay, on that cannot note from the
contestants cannot, at above area and above, you cannot take judging or chief judge roles if you're a contestant. No.
Okay, DTM Alia, I could pick her name on this, has asked this question: can the club nominate its contestants to the area and area to the division? What are the rules for nomination?
All right, this is a very good question, and I'll give you now also a detailed scenario that we also added in the handbook. Only clubs have the liberty and the right to nominate contestants to the next level. Let's say an area has 4 clubs, so they can nominate up to 2 contestants to the next level. If the area has 5 active clubs and above, they can only nominate 1 contestant, all right? They can nominate 1 contestant. Now, let's say the club decides to conduct the contest only for humorous and evaluation, all right? And they don't have any contestant, or they don't want to conduct a contest for the humorous and table topics. They can conduct a contest for the international and evaluation, yes. And they can nominate contestants for the remaining 2 contests. Only this is allowed at the club level. Area and above contests should take place. Even for timing purpose, even if you have only 1 contestant, you have to have the contest, because they might be disqualified for timing, they might be disqualified for eligibility, many reasons. Many reasons. Because, you know, now we are on the verge of April dues, right? Now we're having our contest. Maybe at the time of April dues, the clubs did not renew. They're not in good standing, that they cannot move forward. So we take it one step at a time. But clubs can nominate contestants to the next level. I hope that's clear.
Thank you, Lydia Ronia, for elaborating on in your answer. And we have another question. Can the club members help the chief judge in identifying or getting the judges for the contest? How does
No,
the chief judge
big
know?
no. The chief judge is the one in charge of taking the judges, no one else. Only at the district level, sometimes when we used to have DTAC back in person because we were basically restricted by the members who could travel and come to the venue. And we had to ensure back in the good old days, badges here, you know, the chairmanship is there. I was many times what you call educational coordinator or judges coordinator. Then we had to ensure that they're not members of the same club of the contest, but the chief judge is the one in charge. So when you call a chief judge and say, no, get me the judges, no. It is not acceptable. It's against the contest rule book. The chief judge is in charge of getting the judges, the telecounters, and even the timers, if you want to go by the book. But because the timers can be excluded to become anonymous, okay, sometimes the contest chair or organizers get the timers. But if you go by the book, judges, telecounters, and the timers are the responsibility of the chief judge and the tie-breaking judge, of course. So no.
And the test speaker for the contest chair, right?
The test speaker and the table topics questions are the responsibility of the contest chair only. So if the chief judge asks the contest chair, give me the questions, the contest chair should say no. The contest chair should not share the table topics question with the chief judge. I don't know why in our, sometimes we give this holy, I mean, all of us is respectful, but we give this holy status to the chief judge. Both are equally important. The chief judge is in charge of the judges, telecounters, timers, and the contest chair is in charge of the other role players. This is why the protests are lodged to both. That means they both are equally important. So you have to know your responsibility. Everyone is important. Can you conduct a contest without a sergeant at arms? Can you conduct a contest without a Zoom master nowadays? Can you conduct a contest without a professional timers? Each one is important. So even if you try to, in the future, plan your flyers, don't have the chief judge picture bigger than the contest chair. They should have the same size because they're all equally important. And when you mention the role players on the program, put everyone's name, except the judges and the telecounters, but list the Zoom master's name, list the timer's name, everyone who's taking part. Don't put my name as a PQD. I didn't do anything for the contest. It's those people, these are the soldiers, and they should be acknowledged, even on the agenda. So please, when you design your flyers, all should have the same size of the picture, because they're all important. That's my request to you.
Thank you once again. And in the context of table topic contest that you mentioned, the topics, here's a question from Toastmaster Tarak Rajani. For table topics contest, why the envelopes cannot be numbered?
Yes. Now, we mentioned who picks the questions, the contest chair. So the contest chair also should be not aware of because they prepare the questions, right? And they are in the envelopes. And the contest chair will shuffle. If I prepare the questions as a contest chair, I might remember what is envelope 1 or 2 or 3, right? So in order to avoid any discrepancy, they shouldn't be numbered. They shuffle them and then pick one question. So 3 envelopes. And if you remember back in the good old days, because we tend to forget back in the good old days when you used to stand on the podium and we have the envelopes. Have they ever been numbered back in the good old days? No, they were just blank envelopes, right? The same applies. But now we're on a Zoom platform. Same rule.
Tarak has asked another question. I think you answered it before, but I'll ask it because it's so important.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
it's
please.
a change of practice. in the table topics contest, the first contestant chooses the question in front of other contestants before moving them to breakout room. Isn't this correct?
No, this is not correct. It's the contest chair who picks the question in front of everyone. Then later on, we move all the contestants apart from contestant number 1. And at this stage, the contest chair will open the envelope and read the question twice. And this is why we updated the documents, because we got a confirmation from Toastmasters International on these details, these nitty-gritty, because it's very important. So this is the proper format in conducting table topics contest. So please take note of that.
Okay, Deepa Umashankar has this question. Audio lag could cause the topic to be missed by the contestant. So it is recommended that it is typed privately in chat directly to the contestant, as well as read out aloud, sourced from Best Practices for Online Speech Contest Large Stage. Please advise.
ETM Schutler, over to you. We had a long discussion on that.
Now, the recommended practice in this context, of course, the best practice is talking about it. So the most practical thing to do would be when the contest is in progress, and if there is a genuine concern that the audio of the contestant has not heard the topic, the chief judge and the contest chair together can decide, and the contest chair can send the message directly only to the contestant. So this is possible only if it is genuinely established that the contestant could not hear properly. This is the recommended practice. I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, thank you, DTM Chittur. Viju Kotana, why the judges have to be renamed and the camera to be shut off? In physical contests, judges are visible to the contestants.
ETM Schutler again. I answered a lot of questions.
No, the practice of the judges being anonymous is a practice which we need to adopt. So we should not disclose, or the judges should not come open the cameras. We just want them to be anonymous. That is the correct practice. But if you were to be looking at a DTAC contest, normally the practice has been that we don't know where the judges are. They would be sitting somewhere in the hall and none of us would know. So we're just extending the similar kind of a practice at an area contest and in a division or at any other contest levels. So it's a best practice, so let us adopt it.
Okay. Viju Kotanath has asked another question. As per presentation, timer 1 is the official timer and will send the timing to the CJ. But in case if timer 1 gets disconnected, what happens?
Then timer 2 will take over. Yes, carry on, DTM Schutler, sorry.
Please answer. It's okay. Okay. So the recommended practice is simple. I think it was there last year. I think we've continued this year in the book as well. The recommended practice is, supposing contestant, the timer 1 is got disconnected when one presentation is happening. The timer 2 will anyway be doing the timing because he has to display the signal devices. The timer 1 will inform timer 2 that he is disconnected, and of course the chief judge. Then the timer 2 will continue to record the timing till such time the timer 1 reconnects. So it can be one contestant or two contestants, whatever. So for that number of contestants, the timing which the timer 1 has been absent, not in the main room, the timer 2 will send that particular contestant's timing to the timer 1, and the timer 1 will record that in the timer sheet, and that timer sheet is sent to the CJ or the chief judge. At any point of time, whatever is the circumstance or the scenario, it is always the timer 1 who gives the timing, is the official timer, and he will send the record to the chief judge. Now, this is a recommended practice. There's no guideline from TMI on this, but then this is a recommended practice which we have found for the for District 105. So again, I'm saying the timer 2 will give the timing details for the contestants when the timer 1 has not been present, and the timer 1 will make the complete list of all the contestants and the timings and give it to the Chief Judge. Thank you.
Okay. The next question is by Asha. A contestant has set their own speaking area against the advice of the contest chair during the contest. What can the contest chair or chief judge do?
Well, the first request for a contestant and all the contestants going to participate is please follow the instructions. So this is a very important guideline that we are recommending, and we want all the contestants to please follow guidelines. Now, there is no one particular correct answer for the scenario because the scenario can differ, but our recommended practice would be that the contest chair can take that half a minute or 1 minute extra to actually redefine the speaking area for the contestant in the interest that all the contestants have a similar kind of a scenario before they deliver the speech. This is my view. I think Nityam Rani, if you have a different view, please go ahead.
No, I agree with you, and it's also up to the discretion of the chief judge. And again, we have to abide by our core values, right? So respect and integrity. So we have to respect the guidelines, the rules, and I don't basically doubt that our contestants will abide by the recommendations. And these are rules. I mean, these are rules from Team I. Even they were very strict with us for the recording in the for the regional finals. They might be disqualified, so we have to abide by these rules. So it's not a choice anymore.
Yeah, the other part of it, if you go to the best practice online document 2122, for which has been released recently, there is a very clear guideline as far as marking the speaking area and how a speaker has to be. So please adhere to this. And because in these recordings, it may not make, when the recording goes to district level and beyond that, then the contestants may run a risk of disqualification. So please ensure that you follow the guidelines. Thank you.
Okay, now from Dan and Ashwati, what can we do if all contestants can't attend the briefing at the same time? Can we conduct the draw with a representative of the contestant?
The contestant should be present.
The recommended practice is the contestants must be present, and we very strongly recommend that all contestants, whether it is a club, area, division, DTAC, whatever, please attend the briefings. It's extremely important to attend, and please participate in for the speaking order and things like that. But just in case one contestant is willing to forego, it is there in the rule book. If he is willing to forego that, then somebody else can step in for it. But then what we recommend, we don't want that scenario. What we recommend is please do attend the briefings. That's the best thing to do. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to answer the next question. Please, can this presentation be shared to attendees for reference? Was asked by Anuradha Udmesh Kumar. The entire document is shared and we can refer it from your club lexicon. The next two questions are from Mahra Mahmoud. Some contests spotlight both the contestant and the timer on screen. Is this allowed?
I didn't understand. They spotlight the contestant and the timer?
Yes, on the screen. You spotlight both of them, not just the contestant. Is this allowed?
There's nothing against that, actually. I mean, there's not, because anyway, I mean, the contestant can basically control the view on their screen, what they want to see themselves, or they can see the timer. But basically, so we do that just to ensure that the timers are visible to the contestant, but there's nothing against that. Did Shutlur anything in this regard? Have I missed something?
No, it's correct.
It's correct.
They can do this.
You can do that, yeah.
Okay, her second question is, should the Sergeant at Arms sorry. The sergeant at arms is in the breakout room. Keep the contestants occupied by talking to them. I repeat, should the sergeant at arms in the breakout room keep the contestants occupied by talking to them?
Now, I remember when we used to take the contestants outside the room, we used to entertain them, right? When you used to wait in another room and we used to talk just to kill the time, and sometimes dance, and it's fine. The thing is, we want to ensure that nothing is breached in terms of rules. Yes, you can talk to them, it's fine. But be aware that check your messages, because if the contest chair tells you, bring in the next contestant, and you're busy chatting and entertaining the contestant, we don't want that to happen. So if you can multitask, it's fine. Yeah. No harm in that, of course not.
Thank you. Can contestants log in with multiple devices?
Yes, they can, but they have to inform the contest chair in advance and the Zoom master, and they have to be renamed according to the official, what you call it, nomenclature, the terminology. I always mispronounce that. The official naming of the contestant, for example, evaluation contest 1, device 2. So and if they're in the evaluation contest, they move in as if they are 2 individuals and out as if 2 individuals. So yes, and we stress on using backup devices, yes.
Okay, the next question is, should contestants inform anyone about the props they are using? Is it enough to message or should it be shown?
The props you want to use in the contest chair. Yes, DDM should go ahead, please.
No, I just wanted, okay, again, when we're looking at a humorous and international speech contest, yes, though the District 105 does not recommend to use a prop because it's a virtual platform, but then if the contestant wants to use it, it will be allowed only with the prior intimation to the contest chair. So that is extremely important.
Yes, they have
that
to
is
inform.
But of course, for an evaluation on table topics, it's not allowed. That's what the answer is. Thank you.
Okay. This is VPM of TKM Club. Can the test speaker to another club use a speech or part of the speech he or she did in any of the contests in his club before? Do you want me to repeat the question?
About the question. Yes, Shitlu, go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead. It's okay.
I mean, if they use it before, yes, they can. I mean, there's nothing against it. I mean, it's a speech. I mean, it could be also a speech that they did in their club, at the club level. You see, at this stage, I mean, if you do it at the area level, division level, how many members have heard it? And likewise, when you repeat the speech at the International Humorous Speech Contest, right? So it's not going to be delivered identically every time. So there's no harm in that. And I forgot to mention the test speaker should be anonymous as well until the moment they are called on stage. So they shouldn't log in as test speaker. I forgot to mention test speaker should be also anonymous until the moment they're called on stage, and then they can be in the group. But before that, no, they cannot.
Did you, Melania, you mentioned it in all the slides?
Yes, also it's one there. Yes, you're right, I missed it.
Okay, and there's some more questions that have come in. Okay. Amna I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce.
It's okay, so you could just mention the question. No need to mention the
Have
name.
these guidelines been translated into Arabic?
Unfortunately not, because they are almost, how many pages, Arnold? 100?
100, more than 100.
If you want to do it as your HPL project, please be my guest. I'm more than happy, because it took us over a month and to modify it. So unfortunately, we don't have time to do that. By the time you finish the translation, if you can pull in the team and do the translation, please, with pleasure. This needs an army to do that. So if you can volunteer and get the team for that, please, with pleasure. We're more than happy to give you the original documents and go ahead. You can collaborate also with DTM Zahra, who's the Arabic committee chair. She's more than happy to help and collaborate in that. But the easiest thing was English because most of the clubs in the district, 200 and over 234 clubs are English-speaking clubs.
Okay, and now, okay, there's some more questions coming in. Sorry, okay. If a contestant is competing in all 4 contests, can they send the same eligibility form, digital format, to all the 4 contest chairs?
No, they have to fill it for each individual contest. Because you might have different contest chairs. So the form has to be filled 4 times.
Question the judges naming as J1, 2, 3. So that means if there are any games during the break, no one participates.
Unfortunately,
What
no.
if there are no audience? I feel all judges should just join like normal guests and contribute to the audience.
Unfortunately, this is not allowed. This is one sacrifice you have to do, and we all respect our judges for that because they will not be able to participate on those games, unfortunately. But the answer is no.
Can I be the chief judge for the club contest of the club, which I am a member of?
Yes. Yes, you can.
I'm going to go a little faster.
Yes,
Many
please.
Toastmasters are asking us to be judge for the contest. We should start to ignore now.
No,
Only chief
tell
judge
them,
has to.
no, tell them, please ask the chief judge to contact us.
Okay.
Because the chief judge should contact them.
Okay, and in line with that question, what happens when the chief judge refuses to find the judges, as it so happens many times? The CJs are district officers as well and aware of the rules. Many clubs and area organizers face this problem.
I have no comment to that. Raji is laughing. I mean, when we reach that level, we are the ones who should set the role models, right? So it's unfortunate, but we shouldn't do that. We should abide by the rules. These are the guidelines by World Headquarters. No.
Okay.
If we say yes now, then we say yes again, then it's wrong. I mean, last year, I mean, I'm not just a brag, many of you know, those who serve with judges, I tell them, okay, chief judge, I handle the show. This is the way it is because this is my duty. Those who know that, you know, they know that, but no, they shouldn't do that.
Okay, thank you. While sending the table topics to the contestant, should it be made known to all or is it done secretly? Sorry,
again, Sudha, I missed that.
I didn't get it myself. While sending the table topics to the contestant, should it be known to all or is it done secretly? I think the person has not understood how
No,
the process.
Basically, yes. If, for example, they cannot hear the question due to a lag in the internet, the contest chair will send it to that contestant privately in their chat. Not to all contestants, only to that, only in this particular condition.
Okay, next question. Is it allowed to record the contest or make it live in Facebook or YouTube?
Like streaming, you mean?
Yep. Yes.
Well, you can record it because, and then this is why you have to fill in the video release form, right? Because of the recording. That means the contestant give their consent. I've seen it before, contestants, they refuse to be recorded and they stop the recording when their turn came. It's their right. So in this case, you cannot stream it. So you have to get the consent of everyone. If they say no, you cannot stream. You have to get their consent. It's very clear and strict, yeah.
Okay. Why qualification for contest before announce name? I'm sorry, I don't get it.
I didn't
Amna,
understand the question. I didn't
Amna
understand the
Hamzat.
question as well.
Can you please repeat?
Why qualification of the contest before the
For
announcement?
contest
I think
before announce
the
name.
protest. This is the rule. I mean, once the contest is over, is adjourned, you cannot lodge a protest. So only you have that time frame to protest if there's a grounds for protest. Otherwise, once the contest is adjourned, no protest. This is the rule.
Okay, it's not, it's disqualification. Yes, why disqualification for contest before announcing?
Not disqualification, it's actually the
yes.
protest. I think there was a
Protest.
misunderstanding with the terminology. I think so, yeah.
Okay, thank you, DTM Rania. What is the right course of action if the CJ is disconnected? How does the backup CJ take over, as they would have been anonymous till then? Do they stop voting from then on? So I am assuming that this person thinks that the voting judge becomes the CJ.
Do you want to answer this, DTM Schittler, or shall I? Please go ahead, and I can also comment.
Okay. So the thing is, one of the key aspects of being a chief judge is to find a backup chief judge. Now that he has to do it quietly, preferred to be done quietly. And if he is disconnected for some reason, he will message the the nominated chief judge, and the nominated chief judge will in turn, he and the chief judge will inform the contest chair and the timers and the tally counters. That's what they're supposed to do. So if I am the chief judge and I have for some reason got disconnected, I have a backup chief judge. So I will inform the contest chair that so-and-so person is the backup chief judge because I have got disconnected. And the backup chief judge also informs the contest chair. So this is already an understanding between the contest organizing team, the contest chair, and the chief judge. And I think this arrangement has to be done as part of the planning process. It is better. It will ensure that the contest is going smoothly without any disturbance to anybody. Thank you.
Okay, I think this question has been answered. If the timer 1 has bad internet connection and logs out during the contest, timer 2 will take over.
Yes.
We've answered that question, yes.
Sorry?
We've answered
Yes,
that question.
we answered
yeah,
that.
we have
Yeah.
answered. Within 5 minutes of the evaluation competition for contestants to write the evaluation, it will be inside the breakout room or in the main room?
Inside the breakout room. The evaluation contest. Yeah.
The
Yes.
contestant for the speech evaluation, the contestants for the speech evaluation contest, the timing for the 5 minutes will begin when the chief judge gives the signal and the timer 1 is present in the breakout room and not in the main room. So the timer 1 will time for the entire 5 minutes in the breakout room, not in the main room. Thank you.
Okay. In table topics, how much maximum time the contestant can take before starting the speech after the contest chair has given the topic?
The general practice is just a couple of seconds to start.
Yes.
If somebody is taking undue amount of time, then it's, and again, it is the contest, it's not right. So we live by Toastmaster values. So we'll have to go as a contestant. And as a contestant, I need to be ready to really address the topic immediately after I've heard it. So that's what we've been practicing. We will continue doing that. Thank you.
Online and offline. So the same rule applies, you know.
Okay. So, what is this? Could you ask this one when you can?
This is your opportunity. Ask the questions as much as you like.
Okay. Do the contest chair have to announce the props used by the contestant? Please. Okay.
No, they don't have to announce.
They don't
it's an
have to.
arrangement between the contest chair and the contestant. No, it's a private arrangement between them. And inform the Zoom master, for example, like remember in the old days, we used to, I want to use a chair or a seat. It's exactly the same. So it's an arrangement between the contest chair and the contestant.
What does the rule book mean when it says a speech must be substantially original? 25% or less of the speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing another person's content. Is just saying quoted by XYZ used enough? Example of substantially original, please.
I think what we need to understand is these are two different aspects of a speech. When we say substantial origin is what the speaker himself feels and writes about it in an independent capacity. Now, this 25% is the content that we can take from any source, and that has to be paraphrased or that has to be quoted in the speech. That's what it means. So these are two different aspects of the speech, and that's what we are supposed to understand. Rani, if you want to add anything on this.
No, I fully agree with you. Yes.
Okay, I think I'll take another last two questions because
questions,
there
yes.
are, although there are questions coming on still. Regarding the time, 3 minutes for the contestee come back, for the contestant to come back. Can we add 2 minutes to?
It's 2 minutes, not 3 minutes.
5 minutes, as you may know the net.
No, it's 2 minutes.
Some
you have only 2 minutes.
More time. Okay.
It's 2 minutes only.
Okay.
This is why we stress on using the backup.
Can the speaker sit down at Zoom?
Well, this is another good question. No, we prefer, well, you see, the judges will define the winner, right? And in speaking arena, we should stand and speak, not sit in front of the Zoom. So if you have a contestant who's standing and speaking in front of the Zoom screen and someone who's sitting in front of the screen, I'm sure the judges will give, higher credit to that person who took that effort and basically stood. There's nothing in the rule book, but the judges should be wise enough and use their, discretion in order to give that person the, higher advantage and using the body language and speaking area, because in a speech contest, we should move in the speaking area. And we've seen many examples where champions, how they've utilized the speaking area as if it's a normal stage. So they should basically stand and speak.
Okay, I'm going to sneak in another question. Can the test, sorry?
Yes, Ditim should.
To add to it, see, when we are in a normal traditional contest, we are standing on a stage and delivering the speech. So when we say that the person has to stand and deliver, we're trying to replicate the same thing in a virtual platform. So it's important that in the interest of the contest and the contestant, that the contestant stands and delivers the speech.
Okay, this is a good question. Can the test speaker be a winner of another club contest of another area or division?
Actually, a very good question. But then, to be honest and fair, apart from what we have mentioned as the guidelines for a test speaker, there's no guideline for this. But the Toastmaster values have to be upheld. So please ensure that the right kind of people are there for the test speakers, so that the contestants get enough and more opportunity to evaluate and deliver a good evaluation, so that the person who's a test speaker gets to learn also as part of the process of learning. So please ensure that these elements are the prime priority as opposed to anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. And for all the other questions that I may have missed asking, please do refer all the written material that we have circulated, and you will find your answer. And if you still don't, please don't hesitate to send us a message. the email address is given in those documents.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudha,
over
for
to-
moderating the session. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being an attentive audience. I mean, I like the questions. When you have more questions, that means you've been listening to us. And that means everyone is paying attention to the details. And if sometimes we also struggle ourselves, with some of the question and answers, and I always talk to Team I and check and verify. And because, the guidelines as well, they're not the same. I've been a member since 16 years. Is the rule book the same as back in 2005? Absolutely not. It keeps on evolving. This is why we always say, keep on reading and updating your knowledge, because situations change, best practices are there and here. And if you have any comments or suggestions, never hesitate to share with us as well, in order to share with whoever in charge with World Quarters. The other day, I'll just an experience. I was opening the rule book and I called Team I and said, where does it say that the test speaker is picked up by the contest chair? And the lady in Denver said, oh gosh, she's had this heavy American accent. I said, yes, oh gosh, it should be there. And I said, please send me an email and we'll fix that. So it happens. I mean, these things happen. We're all human beings. So whatever you have a suggestion or any comment, never hesitate to share with us, and we'll always be there at your service. If you need help in terms of how to conduct the contests, we're all here to serve you, the contest management team, and read the documents, not because it took us a lot of time to do those. That's one of the reasons, actually, but apart from that, they're really, really beneficial. I mean, this is the collaborative work of two teams over 2 years. Last year's PQD team who laid the foundation, and this year's team as well, who carried on the same legacy. And I hope next year we'll meet in person. We don't have to use all these Zoom and screens and stuff, and all this nightmare is over. But again, these rules also are applicable even in a real contest. So because the guidelines and the Bible is the rule book. So read the Bible, read the rule book. Integrity and core values are very important, and be ready. Be ready and always have a contingency plan and backups. This is very, very important. I'm telling you that from my own humble experience. Any comments, any remarks before we say adios? All right, all the best to all of you, dear area directors, leaders, division directors in your upcoming contests. And again, I would like to extend my thanks to my team, DTM Shetlur. Actually, I have the slides ready. So why? Let me use can I share my screen, Zoom J?
Yes, PQD.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Let me share my screen, and here it is. Yes. Because we still have 60 people in the house. So. Okay, share screen. So as a note of appreciation, I would like first of all to thank DTM Shetlur, my partner in crime, for a fabulous delivery. Thank you so much, and for all the support you've been giving us since the beginning of the term. Thank you so much, sir. You're always amazing, and I really appreciate, and really I cannot thank you enough for all you've done since the beginning of the term and until this moment. Sudha, thank you so much for being all there, giving the comments and criticism and the questions here and there. I mean, you've been a pillar to the success of the team. Thank you so much. Arnold, I cannot thank you enough for taking my nonsense, change that word, and all these, guidelines, the fabulous illustration, the glamorous guideline that I've shared as well with everyone, all PQDs around the world, is this gentleman's creation. Our master designer, Toastmasters International, thank you so much for your support. Our Zoomjay, Ramanujam, DTM Ramanujam is in the back. So he always likes to hide behind the screen. He's there, and who's been helping us extensively with the polls and handling the logistics, along with our amazing logistic manager, Toastmasters Chichita. Thank you so much for everything and all your support. You deserve a big round of applause. I cannot thank all of you for your support, for sharing your experiences, and all the lovely chat. I'll miss our meetings, actually, but I think they've become fruitful. But again, we still have more months to go. Reach out to us, and we're all here to help and support. The email is in the documents. The email is in the email I sent you, whom to contact for with regard to contest. Shoot your questions, share whatever you want, any doubts, call us, reach to us. We're all here to support you, all of us. Thank you so much. And this will be shared with all of you. It will be uploaded on the district YouTube channel for your own review, refresh your memory, and I wish you all a very good night. Oh, Ramanujam is there. He's our Zoom J. Thank you, Ram. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. And have a good night, everyone.
Can you have a group picture?
Oh yes, a group picture. We still have 50 people. Don't run. Now you can switch on your camera. You're not judges, so you can switch on your cameras and smile.
Was the question I wanted to ask.
What?
Whether
Ask.
they can switch on the cameras or not.
Yes, they can switch on their cameras. Smile. You have two screens, right? Yes. Some are having dinner, maybe.
Done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And all the best in your
All right.
upcoming
Good night,
contest. Take
everyone.
care. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night. You can stop the recording, dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.